what about the time convenience versus, I mean, it's pretty much no
Well,
comparison.
it was much faster. You just turn on the digital machine and it's ready to go.
And you can actually cut and paste like on a word processing program with actual music.
That's the best thing about digital is the editing. It's so fast, and you have so many tools, and you could do edits that you could never do on tape. And of course, you could try them and do crossfades and things you could never do on the analog tape.
Plus, but that said, there are still bands and performances that still want to use the analog, and you could still do that. You hear, although the most common now, it's pretty much Pro Tools is the industry standard, but there are some your studio here definitely, where you get requests to record analog, and that must be a lot of fun for you to go back and.
I love doing it because I love the sound of it. I guess I grew up with that sound, so. I love it, and we can definitely combine the two. I can sync up the analog to the digital, and we can use a combination of both.
And that's a special cable or special that you're able to sync up between...
All right, I can sync up with time code. I can also transfer, let's say we record the basic tracks, the drums and bass on the analog tape. I can transfer that to the digital just with a special cable I had made, so I don't need to go through any patch bays or the console, and it comes out perfect that way.
Awesome. So it's like you have the best of all the worlds combined.
Right, because you have all the characteristics of the analog with the convenience of the digital.
You know, what we're talking a lot about here in these little modules, mini lessons, a lot of this we're talking about digital recording for home use, because most people in their homes now in this age
comes with their computer.
Right, it comes with a computer. Anyone for very cheap can get set up and started to record at home digitally. But I love the sound of analog. You know, I love the warmth. So do you know some things that maybe people at home can do to kind of bring that warmth to their recordings of analog, even though they're using the digital equipment?
Right. Well, what I do in the studio here is I use a lot of the tube gear as sort of a front end to the digital, and a lot of the harshness doesn't pass through some of the old analog tube equipment, and it adds harmonics that you would get from normally from analog. There's also plugins today too that simulate the analog recording. There's stuff made by Crane Song. I think it's the Phoenix plugins that do a tremendous job in sort of darkening things. And
so someone can at home can actually, is that probably available as a download maybe even?
Well, I know they're available as plugins for sale.
So what they could do is they could just grab one of those.
Right, and there's another one that's actually very inexpensive, made by a company called Massey. It's called the Tape Head, and you can use that as a plugin, and it sort of simulates the sound of analog tape right on your digital workstation.
Awesome, and that will help to give you more of that warmth, almost like you're using.
It smooths it out.
Smooths it out the wave, so it's almost.
So if you don't have like tube compressors like I have or EQs, you could use a plugin that sort of simulates it. Or you could go out. There's tape machines that have become incredibly inexpensive today. So you could buy a cheap 2-track or something and actually record it to tape and use the playback from the tape repro head going right to Pro Tools, and that'll smooth it out quite a bit, and you'll have the sound of the tape as well.